Okay, well, we're on, folks. Hello, my name is Flory Freshman. This is my email, flowfreshman@gmail.com, and I'm speaking today about EMF, electromagnetic fields radiation mitigation, how to thwart something that is actually harmful and made to look safe. We have here as our first witness, so to speak, we have Sam. Sam is the simulated anthropomorphic mannequin head that's used since actually 1963. Then again in 93 and 96 there were some changes to the literature, but this plastic head here is used as a guide, a safety guide for every single microwave, appliance, cell phone, Wi-Fi, cell tower, and they tested it in an antenna-free laboratory environment for 6 minutes or 2 minutes, I'm not sure. It was different information. And if the temperature of the liquid inside, which is sometimes an oil or some kind of glucose or saline, if it didn't heat up more than 1 degree in 2 minutes, it was declared safe. So therefore, this huge cell tower in back of your hospital is safe because of the SAM head, and that's SAR, Specific Absorption Rate SCAM. And I entered that cartoon, which you have in your book. I made a model for a play I wrote called The Fringe Element. So I took one of my wig heads, hello, welcome, one of my wig heads, and I made this for my play to simulate how absurd it is to say a cell tower is safe based on a plastic head with fluid in it in a laboratory environment with no antennas. Also, one of the reasons I had to shield myself because of this scam, they have wireless frequencies in the air which are putting us inside of a man-made microwave oven. And all of the statements I make are well researched and well quoted from engineers, electricians, professors, scientists from all over the world, because this utility meter called a smart meter, and the update is a deadly focus meter. This utility meter violates safety codes, and laws of the utility companies are not allowed to harm the public. And they were slapped on everyone's house. Wireless information. It goes through about 300 to 1,000 houses, piggybacking before, and thanks to stopsmartmeters.org, before it goes to the collector house. So this collector house has 3 transmitters on their smart meter instead of 2. So they're chosen to be an older couple with no fence, with no dogs, easy access to the meter, and they're not told that they're the collector house. So 300 houses of microwave data is coming through their house, so they're basically living in an MRI and not being told. But the reason an older couple or an older woman is because they'll think that all of their ailments are from age and not from being electrocuted by a taser-like utility meter, which is a fire hazard. www.thermoguy.com. Curtis Bennett, Professor Curtis Bennett, teaches energy medicine for the Integrative Health Forum. More of renewal hours towards their license if they take his course. So it is no longer an opinion. Electrohypersensitivity or electrocution from wireless frequencies are a fact. And the World Health Organization a few years ago named it a class 2B carcinogen, and some claim it's a 2A carcinogen because it heats up tissue. So we're done with SAM right now, but Barry Trower, a scientist in the United Kingdom. I've spoken with him. I have some of his letters that he sent me with a stamp of Queen Elizabeth right on the letter. And I just want to, no offense to the Queen. You have the electromagnetic spectrum, and I gave all of you a copy of this in color. So he explains on a recent 2.5-hour YouTube video called Rich Planet TV on August 16, 2016, parts 1, 2, and 3. So you have visible light spectrum. You have, it was cut off on the screenshot, but I checked with an engineer that my number 1 meter here is correct, and the 0.001 nanometer is correct. So you have radio waves, which include TV, radiation type, then microwaves, then infrared, which is sunlight and heat, which can be beneficial or harmful. Then you have ultraviolet light, which is the LED lights, which are blue-green. Then you have X-rays, which you know is limited microwaves, and gamma rays that is used to kill cancer cells. So you know that it hurts cells. So Barry Trower said the most harm is from the 1 meter to the 1 millimeter range, because especially for the very young and very old, because they don't have the defense mechanism like regular adults do for an electrical storm that is part of nature. So we're dealing with man-made microwaves in the air. So I have documents that I wrote on here, and these documents are military documents. We have the Naval Medical Research Institute, and this document is also on Dr. Magda Havis's website, a little better printed out than this. It's a 106-page document with over 2,300 references from 1971 to 2, and it has 5 pages of illnesses of microwave irradiation. So it says here, bibliography of reported biological phenomena, effects, and clinical manifestations attributed to microwave and radio frequency radiation research report. So the research has been done, and what they're doing now in the name of research is actual intentional genocide for a depopulation agenda. I have this contract between General Dynamics for $43 million from 2013 to 2027, the U.S. Air Force hiring General Dynamics to radiate whole animals and humans, so in case of war, they will already know how to kill the enemy. So there are, what was that? 250,000 directed energy weapons on satellites and on drones now. 10,000 are up. They're planning 250,000, Barry Trower said. And I myself studied Barry Trower's YouTubes so intensely that a beam knocked me down at the end of April of 2016 in my backyard, and I knew what to do. I threw myself on my stomach and wiggled out of the way, and I found 6 dead birds on my property the following day. Also, the e-poles, the Atella lights, on top of every lamppost now is a little black box with a 2-way radio. They say it's for great internet and GPS. It's 5G, 5 gigahertz. That's 5 billion cycles per second running through the air. And our wiring in our house is 60 cycles per second. And when we think, it's 8. And when we sleep, it's supposed to be 0.1. So, in order to lower the frequency of my house, I had to get rid of this meter that I told them I didn't want and go back to the old analog meter that has some dials. It's mostly magnetic. They come around and read it every month or 2. They came yesterday. I gave the electric guy such a spiel, I think he went home and had a stiff drink after my little talk with him about all the pending lawsuits, consumer fraud, treason, unsafe workplace, unsafe living conditions, and so on. When I had this on my house against my will, knowledge, or permission, because my friend Helen, who will be speaking about some geo-wellness shielding products, is here, she told me about the smart meters, but I didn't quite understand the science. So I had them remove it, and they're charging me an extortion fee of $23 a month, not to be electrocuted, but my neighbor's smart meters tase 1.8 miles in all directions. And I can hear the high frequencies because a year ago they changed them to 3,000 to 11,000 times more wattage in the new focus meter on fcc.gov. And it has a 10-station radio. It hears everything you say. It's a two-way radio, and the other channels can actually send a microwave voice or frequency to, let me get my Barry Trower handout. Simultaneously, it tase you with several frequencies at once. So you not only get, I have been analyzing the notes, like a high C, I would feel burning in the back of my eyes, a low D, I would feel my sciatica hurt. So these frequencies on this chart, Barry Trower got, and it's all in your handout here, these are the frequencies of the microwave weaponry from the Cold War. So Wi-Fi is not new technology, he says. It's old technology made to look safe, but it is not safe. It is actually sterilizing the children in the schools, so Wi-Fi must be out of the schools, just like in Russia. They did away with Wi-Fi completely. They also cannot have microwave ovens since about 1976 in Russia, because they do have some bad things about them. Anyway, if you pulse or modulate per second a frequency of 1 hertz, it affects the heart. So I have heart damage from that meter. And I was in a heart study, and we talked about this. So you have this list all the way up to the mania, hyperactivity, suicidal. So these were all very well tested by the people interested in hurting other people. So you have the history of microwave. You get a lot of sterility in the Marines and in the Navy from the radiation. Now, I did some cartoons also that are in the handout. I also have a less CMF catalog here I'm giving everyone with shielding products. Also, shieldyourbody.com is a very good website also for shielding products, because if a man puts his cell phone, an American cell phone, on off, it still is on. It's still searching for the nearest antenna unless you put it on airplane mode. So what's happening in this report is that it kills the Y chromosome, so more girls are being born than boys. Also, the autism is a big problem because women are going in for ultrasound once a week. Dr. Harold Kautz-Vella and Dr. Magda Havas are not fans of ultrasound unless it's an emergency. So you're interfering with fetal development with the ultrasound being done so frequently. So that is something that I'm not afraid to say, but I probably should be afraid. And also the spraying in the skies of aluminum oxide, barium, strontium, allows us 10 more years before the plankton in the ocean is completely aluminized. So we have 10 more years to stop the spraying in the skies. It is not a condensation trail. Very few planes use that kind of fuel in Arctic environments. It is a deliberate poisoning of the air and the soil. And the CIA came out with a little video a couple of months ago, which I have online, and said that the solar radiation management, SRM, is to prevent global warming, and that's why they're spraying the skies. However, when you metallicize the environment and it rains metal, it also synchronizes with the 1.8 miles of each smart meter. So you have metallics upon metallics. You're being electrocuted by the box springs in your mattress, the metal inner coil. So Dr. Klinghardt, which I have on my sheet, in Seattle, Dr. Klinghardt with a K has several YouTubes. This one is called EMF and Smart Meters, the Health Crisis of Our Time. And he will not treat anyone who sleeps on anything metal. and prefers if they have a kill switch in their bedroom. So you start with remediating the sleeping space so your brain, your pineal gland, can start regenerating cells. And that's the cartoon that I have for you right here, is that the pineal gland regenerates melatonin, and that's this cartoon. This one I didn't enter in the Pulitzer because it didn't get published, but I have 9 cartoons for editorial cartooning entered in the Pulitzer. The pineal gland thinks that these frequencies are light, so it never rests and it never regenerates cells. So it's very important to note that the baby monitors, the Wi-Fi, the cordless phones, the IntelliLights, the e-poles, the cell towers, the LED bulbs, the RF bulbs are all, especially cordless phones, are all giving high frequencies. Now I can hear them now, and I can hear the focus meter doing 2 or 3 at a time, okay? But I sleep on a wooden bed. I have a $50, 1-inch thick, solid rubber mat on top of the wooden bed that I got at Tractor Supply, thanks to Helen. And I have a foam futon mattress on top of that. Of course, cotton is more natural. Foam has some polyester, which is oil, which could be heated up. But so far it's okay. And then I use natural cotton blankets so they don't heat up. I have a big red sheet hanging, a pink, bright pink sheet for the LED coming in from the IntelliLight across the street. And I sleep in the garage where the breaker is off. And I deradiate and I feel great. I have these different hats that I wear. I made this one for a character from the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz, and it really works because it has a copper band, aluminum foil, and a funnel hat. Now, if I got a headache, I know that I didn't put the metal at the right angle for the Wi-Fi in the building when I have to go places and do things, restaurants. So I shield myself. I got this. This is still metal, so it does conduct electricity. So I'm not saying it doesn't. All I know is that Barry Trower said you have to experiment putting aluminum mesh on your windows, duct taping it to the wall on the other side of the meter, because many states are not allowed to get the safe meter back, or they'll give them a Trojan horse meter that they say is safe, but they could turn it on, or they'll have a fake front looking like an analog meter, and in the back is a taser meter. So this is one of my favorite hats. I have this copper band here. It's 4 inches thick, and this way I'm also light sensitive because I had head trauma. And this is a silver mesh bandana that I just stuck on here. And when I put the bandana on top of the copper and wore the hat, I got a headache. So I put it under the hat and I feel fine and calm and deradiated. When I had an extra 2-inch copper band with my 4-inch copper band, because I made one for someone, it gave me a headache. But now with the single copper band, I feel relaxed. So we have an eye mesh. Also, I made this with some tiles from ShieldYourBody.com. My friend gave me these tiles that you peel off and put under your laptop to decrease radiation. So I had the ski band. So the eyes and the ovaries are the moistest organs, and they conduct electricity the most first. So I would just cover my eyes like this at night until I bought one ready-made from LessEMF.com, or I'd wear it like this during the day, and it really worked. The magnetic insoles. Curtis Bennett, Professor Curtis Bennett calls me up a year ago from Canada. Don't talk. Get a pen. Write down this number and get as many of these magnetic insoles as you can. They're called E3, like 2 magnets, E and then 3 magnetics. And I have the new representative's number in Florida and her email if you want. Now, your body calibrates to these. So one person feels uncomfortable the first few days while your body is working with these magnetic insoles. It comes in a twin bed rollout and also a lower back pack. It was originally formulated by veterinarians for horses to promote circulation, and it worked so well that now I can't go anywhere without it, because a lot of the directed energy weapons are going 40 inches into the ground now, killing the wriggler worms and the beneficial insects. So we have to stop that. Let's see what else I have here. I have some t-shirts that I got. This one got a little ripped, but I have some cleaner ones. It's basically silver and nylon mesh. And then I got some remnants, and I made a little hat for myself when I can't find my other things. And this also, I feel very calm. But this fabric has metal in it. So it has a precautionary warning that comes with it. Do not wear near high voltage environments or near an outlet that has a lot of loose wires stuck to it and is falling apart. I'm going to introduce Helen Pierce, my friend, and she'll talk about some of the products that I use, such as the button, the Geo Wellness button on my cell phone, and the pendant, and a home harmonizer, and a car harmonizer? I'm learning the lingo, and other new products from Geo Wellness. I don't make anything off of any of these products. I work for free. All my cartoons are free. It's free rights. You can go to my Facebook page and just use the cartoons as is. If you need any changes, you'll need my permission because everything is copyrighted. I just wanted to also mention that I put my first copper band, I just got pieces from a metal place and made this, and it worked pretty good, but the continual band works better. Okay, that's my little friend there. This is my father, a painting I did for his 91st birthday, a Holocaust survivor. So my mother and father were prisoners of the Nazis in World War II in Poland. So if they could survive that and make a daughter like me who loves people and animals and nature so much, I think that I can win this fight because they won their fight. So this is a painting I just did for my dad's 91st birthday, and he really loves it. And I think that's it. Helen? And this is Helen's phone number if you need to order anything. And she's a great actress as well, but she's not acting now. She's being herself. Helen. Thank you, Helen. Can I carry something for you?
Stay here with me.
Okay. Do you want me to hold this for you? Okay.
Yeah. I'd like to begin by showing the cover of a book by a local author. Her name is Reverend Kebba Buckley, and now she's married, so Reverend Kebba Buckley Button. And the title of her book, Discover the Secret Energized You. Life is an experiment. What tools will you use? And on page 52 of Kebba's book, she mentions a water that is a healing water that helps do the first step of what we can, in this way of thinking about things, to take care of ourselves in this atmosphere where we find ourselves. Flory mentioned all of the things in the household that can be having magnetic fields and therefore can be a problem for us as we use them. So this entire page, vacuum cleaners, alarm clocks, refrigerators and freezers, baby monitors, hair dryers, when they're plugged in and running, they are giving us a field that is not desirable. We don't call it shielding at Geo Wellness because every product that we're using, our car, our cell phone, is able to do its full job, and at the same time our bodies can have more protection. The home harmonizer, and I have one with me, not plugged into the wall, It does not draw electricity. It puts the Schumann resonance. Have you heard of the Schumann resonance? It is the resonance that the Earth has as, like, you might say, a heartbeat, or a frequency beat is even better. And people and animals have that same frequency in health.
Right, that's 7.83 hertz cycles per second.
Thank you. This home harmonizer puts one wing of its work along the part of the home that is connected to the particular outlet, and the other wing of what this home harmonizer does is put the Schumann resonance out through the air for a 60-foot radius, so that this makes a home more comfortable. And you can tell if you have a knot of cords under a desk and you put a home harmonizer in this one over here, you will find your dog tending to sleep there. Just as I mentioned eye water so briefly, that if you put bowls of regular water and eye water down at your dog feeding station, guess what bowl they will go to?
I know, I have 3 home harmonizers, and my cats, I felt the frequency drop immediately. And I have 1 dirty electricity filter, and it's a blessing. And it doesn't draw any electricity, it's just for convenience.
Well, it doesn't draw any electricity, but it is sending the Schumann resonance along where it's connected in.
Okay, there are other products. I just wanted to mention briefly for Helen to continue. I do have one thing that I would like to say. Did you ever read Alana Freeland's book, Chemtrails, HARP, and the Full Spectrum Dominance of Planet Earth?
No.
Okay.
Haven't
Well,
finished.
I want you to complete telling the people the product line, but I had to interject the fact that she ties in the chemtrails, the spraying of the aluminum, geoengineering, weather modification, solar radiation management, with the smart meter grid. And this is going, when the aluminum falls, it electrocutes anything at the same latitude or parallel to when the smart meters are talking to each other. And the reason for this is to have a wireless grid, which our pensions are now invested in, a wireless hackable microwave grid of electricity. And if you shut the power off remotely along the Mississippi River, along the New Madrid fault line, you will melt down all of the nuclear plants along the Mississippi, create an ocean. 400,000 people will die and 7 million will be displaced, so that the royalty who thinks that they are better than everyone else can have the East Coast, and the other inbred and greedy authoritarian media mongers will have the West Coast. So we're going to prevent that, because that's what the Torah says, is that we will, the people, the mom and pop, the grassroots, we're going to win this war. So along that line, I would like to hear more about these important products that really help shield us until we eradicate the problem and put the perpetrators where they belong.
It's often not done showing pictures of these products because they are not the actual product. The actual product is the energy that they put out. It's invisible to us, and there's not a direct measuring system for Schumann resonance. I have a tri-field meter, and I can go and measure what I'm remediating or giving my body more energy to deal with as an assault.
You wanted to show them the car harmonizer?
This is a car harmonizer.
Right.
So we don't need 60 feet radius. This harmonizer handles the way that the car is when we're going past a tower. It also is working, make us able to stay in the car and do the driving with radial tires and other sources of magnetic fields.
And you can charge your cell phone on that just by leaving it on the dashboard, solar.
Yes. And it has flashlight too.
And how about the pendant? The Geo Wellness pendant, it comes in a metal version and a plastic version for hotter weather. So that is important, that you can't buy a used one because it already calibrated itself to the person's
Yes.
frequency who had it. So
I wear it all the time. What it does is builds up my biofield. Biofield has been admitted into the medical terminology in the 1990s. And so that means that my body doesn't end at the edge of my skin. It actually includes the energy, which you can feel if you bring your two hands together. And when the heat changes, you'll realize that each hand's energy field has come in contact with the other hand's energy field.
can I say something about Curtis Bennett on thermoguy.com? He has a new blast on his website from a week ago, February 7th, 2017. He says it's not if smart meters will cause a fire, it's when smart meters will cause a fire. And Lloyd's of London, the technological last person to say anything, the final say, the insurance company that sets the standard for the entire insurance field, no longer will cover smart meter fires, electromagnetic radiation, bodily injury or structural damage, or cell phone bodily injury. So you're going to have vibrations shaking the gas pipelines, about 190,000 pulses a day, meter to meter, in the air with the cell towers, with the directed energy weapons, and it is all very visible on www.antennasearch.com. You punch in an address, you find out within a 4-mile radius of that address how many cell towers there are, how tall they are, who owns them, and whether they're registered or not. So they're springing up everywhere, and they have sketches from 1954 on stopthecrime.net with sketches of cell towers for mass extermination and cooking people slowly. It's a war without bombs. So they age the people, and then they lower the population. So I think that was about it, if it's blinking, right? Oh, it's still recording. Thank you. We got some very nice people in the audience today. I want to thank you all for coming. I also want to thank Cynthia Anderson Beneka for hosting this beautiful event here. I know there's a million things that I want to say, but you can call me, Flory Freshman, at 480-840-4046. I have cards here. So anytime you need help with trying to shield yourself and trying to get together and get the Wi-Fi out of the schools, and the Apple tablets have their antennas on the bottom radiating the children's developing gonads, so we have to get rid of those and just plug in hardwired computers everywhere and go back to the better, safer technology that we had before. Any questions? Questions from the audience? Well, if you read those handouts, you'll have a lot of interesting, yes?
So you're saying that Wi-Fi makes kids sterile?
Yes, yes. It heats up the DNA of the ovarian follicles. It mutates it so that in your handout here with the Barry Trower, I have the chart on the, no, it's on this handout. I just did these today. There's been heart attacks, 2 boys in Canada died from heart attacks and 2 were revived. There's electric shock drownings, where you get paralyzed while you're swimming from a directed energy weapon or a meter reflecting upon the water as a conductivity. So it paralyzes your diaphragm, and then you turn over and people think you drowned. So when you can't breathe, you die. So we had 2 electric shock drownings here in Paradise Valley, a 71-year-old woman this past summer and a 30-year-old man, a 31-year-old woman in Tempe in a community pool, a 37-year-old man in Apache Lake, and 2 on Lake Pleasant, 2 electric shock drownings when they were swimming and touched the buoys, because one couldn't swim, was jumping from the metal. So you have a cell tower radiating, the IntelliLights, the dock might have Wi-Fi. It all reflects in multitudes and compounds itself using the water as an electrical conductor. And then you get ESD, or electric shock drowning, or EMD, electromagnetic disturbance, which will blow your appliances or may cause your computer not to work properly, or your radio station isn't coming in quite clearly. So this is all illegal, because according to the Geneva Convention and the Nuremberg Treaty, non-consenting human experimentation like they did in my parents in Auschwitz is illegal. And that's treason. You can go online.
The question is, has anyone counted the drownings over a span of years that would be long enough to see if there's a difference in this with the electroshock?
I would have to research that further. All I know is I counted 12 in the Phoenix area this summer, and then in November of 2015, a girl named Lexi Schultz died suddenly, and she went to a junior high in either Gilbert or Chandler area. She had metal braces on her teeth, and she had her legs turned black. She died. She said she wasn't feeling good. So I went to the school on a Sunday. I took photographs. They had metal roofs. They had metal fencing all around an acre football field or sports field. They had metal bleachers and a cell tower right in back of the bleachers. They had Wi-Fi in the schools, smart meters on a bank enclosed, and it was, I think she was electrocuted, and I was told by a person who is a top psychic, and she gave me a freebie. She said that I would be calling the ortho something board. So I couldn't figure out what she meant. She goes, you'll know, because that was in August, and this happened in November, where I saw Lexi's photo of her metal braces. So now when I see a teenager with braces, I said, don't hold your cell phone to your ear. Use it on speakerphone. And I called the orthodontic board. I figured out who the ortho something was, and they claimed that the plastic braces may not work as good and get stained. I said, well, how about fiberglass? You know, you can't have these teenagers holding a 900 megahertz appliance to their ear with metal braces.